Good morning, welcome to Yeshiva YouTube Daily Double. Today we're finishing the 12th parak of Masechah Shabbos, starting at 13th parak. Mishnah Vav and Parak Yud Beis Akosir Shtei Osios B'Shtei Alamos. Talked about this yesterday. The chiyuv for writing, you have to write two letters. It has to be a word. We saw. You wrote one letter. You wrote Av. Let's say Aleph Beis. Av is a month. It's also right. You be chai. So say you write Aleph. You forgot that it's Shabbos. And then you remember it's Shabbos. And then you forgot again. And you wrote Beis. And then you remembered. So now, do those two letters join together? You had a Yediyah in between. The idea that's Aser and Mazid. And then you forgot again. Now, I don't know how people forget. Anyway, amnesia. I don't know. People are just forgetting over here. Alzheimer's. I don't know. Achas Shachris v'achas ar ben arbaim. Or even if, right, technically he can't remember that he remembered, but he wrote one letter in the morning and one letter in the evening. So there's a long time between one morning and one in the evening. We assume that he probably knew in between. And then he forgot again. Both of these cases, really it's the same din. Gamliel says you're chayiv in both of these cases because he holds, the Gemara says, any yediyah l'chatzi shir. There's no yediyah for a chatzi shir. We'll explain more what this means in Ian Mitzion, but basically the fact that he remembered in between it's not relevant because he's in the middle of doing a malacha. Racham say, no, you could have yediyah b'chatzi shir. Now, there's many times in the Gemara where the Gemara says you do 5 be'ilos or something in be'isr, right? And if you have an idea between each of them, maybe you're chayav 5 korbanos over there because each one independently is his own korban chatas. Here, there's no chiyuv, right? Chatzi malacha is maybe only asur midrabanan, or maybe it's asur midaraisa, but you're not chayav kares for it for Shabbos, or you're not chayav chatas if you did it b'shogeg. So there's no yediyah l'chatzi shir. Chum say no. There still is, nonetheless, there is yediyah l'chatzi shir. I'll talk about the explanation of the machlokas in Mitzion. Let's start the 13th parak. Parak Rebbe Lezer, Parak Yud Gimel Aleph. Rebbe Lezer Omer har oreg shlosha chutim batchila va'achas al oreg chayav. If you want to be chayav for weaving, no. Introduction to weaving, if you don't know about it, there's 3 main types of weave. There's the plain weave, there's the denim weave, or it's called, I forgot what it's called better, used for denim. And basically there's a satin weave. It's called sateen, is the thing that the material you make out of the satin weave. The plain weave is basically one by one, warp left. It's simple. Most shirts are plain weave. Then you have twill. It's called twill, or the denim weave. Basically, you have 2 and then 1, warp and the left ratio. And then the satin weave is basically 4 to 1. And a lot of time with the satin weave, you'll end up with like on top it'll be what is it called? Glossy, and on the bottom will be matte. So those are the things. But we're not getting into that for a second. That's important in fashion. It's important when you want to buy clothes. You have to know exactly. You should know what type of weave they're using. If you look at your clothes, you can see it. When you have a diagonal rib type of weave, it's usually considered to be a denim weave or a twill weave. Most shirts are just 1 by 1. What satin looks like. Sateen. Some bed sheets look like that. He says when you weave to start a garment, you have to do something chashuv, something important. So if you have two. Normally the shear in the Mishnah says oreg shtei chutin, right? You weave 2 chutin, which basically means 1-on-1, a plain weave, 1 warp, 1 weft. That's really what it means. However, when you want to start a weave, you have to have shlosha chutin, which is 1 and 1, the warp and the weft, and then another one, which probably goes already into the more advanced weave, the twill weave. However, if you had already something woven, he's machmir, he's makel in the beginning, and he's also machmir in the end, that if you already have something woven, right, if you weave another stitch, something that's woven, even 1 stitch, you're chayiv. It doesn't make a difference whether you're starting or you're adding on. It always has to be two strands, which I guess is the warp and the weft, 1 of the warp and the 1 of the weft, which would be shnei chutin. Bichayev. I will explain the machloka between Lezer and the Chachamim, the Chachamim in Iyun Mitzion, which is basically the same explanation I'll give you of the machlokas in Mishnah Vav of Parak Yud Beis. Stay tuned, Iyun Mitzion coming up next.